A lot of the wine regions of the world are quite old-fashioned, traditional, and they don't really like changing. And what you may notice, I don't know, but you may have heard about this, you may have noticed it, that in the UK, the majority of wines that are bought are wines that are easy to say. They're easy to read. Porter 6, LB7, Governor, Villa Maria, Brancott, Oyster Bay.
Yeah.
It's words people know. And if you go into a supermarket, and let's say you have a Maximum Grunhauser Absberg Riesling Cabinet. Who knows what that is, okay? Or maybe at the same time you have a Caudron Viage and from a producer, and it's a Chateau de something with a name, and then it's got more information on the back. It tells you about 3 grape varieties you've never heard of before. I mean, we know what they are. But a normal, a standard supermarket consumer probably doesn't. And that's the problem. People like names that they can pronounce. Malbec. Malbec is easy. People understand Malbec.
Yeah.
Okay? Gewürztraminer. No chance.
Yeah, that's a bit more difficult.
So for me, I think that's the problem. We need to make it simpler. We need to try and find a way to decode it, demystify it. Because, I mean, today I wrote an article about aroma compounds in wine, okay? And how flavors are developed through the fermentation process and esters and terpenes and everything like that. I was writing that and I was confused. And I was thinking, well, how? And I get a lot of questions on social media saying, well, it's just grapes. There can't be any other flavors. Yeah, and I spent this time today to write this article because I wanted to kind of give my opinion on the matter and try and make it clearer. But I wrote it all and I went back and I thought, this is really complex. This is basically is quite high biochemistry. And I'm not I'm not a scientist, I'm not a chemist, I'm not a biologist. For me, it's a whole new world. I just about understand it. I understand the basics of it. But, how can you give that information to someone that basically just knows maybe Pinot Grigio and Malbec? It's hard to break it down into pieces because wine is an incredibly complex product. It's a lot deeper than we think. I think probably a lot of people that really do love wine probably still struggle with some of the more intricate details because, I mean, I've just finished my diploma and it killed me. The amount of information you need to know for the diploma exam is just mind-boggling. It's crazy.
Yeah, wine chemistry is really complicated, and it's the most complex beverage in the world. So, but it was great that you highlighted this idea, and I tell this multiple times. I don't even know in how many podcasts I mentioned this, but I think this is a very important idea that we should communicate especially for newer consumers. This idea, as you highlighted, that how can there be any other flavors than grapes? It's made out of grapes. Just this idea to mention all the time that throughout the process of fermentation and from the grapes as well and through aging, there are chemical compounds that are found in different fruits and different foods as well. So technically the same chemical compounds are there. Yeah. So when people understand this, then it opens up. I'm not saying that they are going to understand wine chemistry, and I'm not even sure that every consumer should. Yeah. But understanding this idea is pretty breaks the mold and people lightens up.
No, I totally agree. And I think if only we could find a way to make it clearer, it would be great. I've got a tasting tomorrow night and I'm going to be talking a lot about the chemistry because it's a group of people that they're knowledgeable about wine. They know quite a lot about wine, but I doubt they've ever really gone deep into why. And it's the why which is the most important part for me. It would be very interesting to see their reaction and to see what they think.
Yeah, I'm sure that it's going to be interesting all the time when with my friends or when we are having wine tastings, when we just touch our toe into the chemistry, if you tell the story right, people get excited and they ask questions. I have this idea, hopefully I can do it before someone else has the same idea, of making a video series about, not all, because there are thousands and thousands of compounds, but the most important aroma compounds, terpenes, at different acids in wine, and explaining the origin of these compounds and what do they do in wine, and what can you feel.
Yeah.
Like simple story, like explanations. I think this would be interesting, and I would enjoy doing it. At least.
I think it's a great idea. You know, one of the things I really struggled with when I was studying for the diploma was the lack of really accessible materials, because you either have really basic or you have so confusing that you can't get into it. And I think there should be more resources somewhere in the middle. Enough information, but without needing a science degree. You know, it's it's important, I think.
That's a good point. And I think what makes it hard is the structure of the wine industry, because it's not logical at all. There are so many like axes that you can go on, like the geography of wine regions, the wine chemistry, technologies, cultures, everything. So there is no road to go through. There is no like good way or road or
you have to go
stepping stones
down this road, turn back, come back, this road back, this road back, and each time you're going back to the same point, which is fundamental winemaking and viticulture. But everywhere is just a little bit difficult, and you think you understand it, and then actually something else happens, and you think, well, not again.
Yeah, that's the most, I mean, for me, it's a pretty frustrating thing that there are very, very few like objective rules in the wine industry that this is like this, and it's like this everywhere. When I learned something, okay, this is how you do it, or in viticulture or wine technology, and then you discover that, actually, there are lots of places where they do it differently, so it's quite hard to...
Fascinating, but difficult.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this video. You can watch the full podcast episode by clicking here, or watch another interesting video by clicking here. Let's continue the discussion in the comment section, and see you in the next one.